Hello, everyone. Welcome to the summit. Just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Jayden Sage. I work in a couple of fields, blockchain space, as well as artificial intelligence. Today, we will be discussing artificial intelligence and its ramifications to all of us, right? So it's the big thing that's going around. It's at the beginning phase of its tsunami, if you will. And as much as we think it has already impacted us, it will actually have more of an impact. But I think that the impact will be amazing, right? So let's walk through some of the benefits of AI. Like, it'll be a better world. It'll be a world where we will start curing many of the diseases that, have inflicted humanity for an extended period of time. And we've hit brick walls after brick walls in each and every one of them. For a variety of reasons. It's not just the technology. Many people say that the cure, the money is in the medicine, not in the cure. So we've hit a plateau where humans have either can't find a breakthrough or are unwilling to find a breakthrough because there's built-in incentives to not find the breakthrough. So hopefully artificial intelligence will allow and become an assistant to those who are looking to actually make the breakthrough rather than the ones who are vested in just making the money. So artificial intelligence will be fantastic for that because it'll help us to move forward in where we've hit all these impasses, right? So I believe that AI will be amazing. And also for for the day-to-day, for the mundane, traffic patterns. We can't figure out traffic patterns. Every major city has an influx of traffic. And even as a user of the roads, that there is going to be traffic from a particular point to a particular point on your travels. So, it affects you. I was traveling yesterday and I got stuck in a bunch of traffic, turning my commute to the airport to 3.5 hours. And I actually knew predictably that this traffic would ail me, if you will, but I still chose to proceed. But we can't solve it. So perhaps AI will help us to solve some of these problems and be able to redirect traffic in a way that we will be able to have better insights and knowledge as to how to control traffic flow. So, from the mundane to all the way of curing diseases for us, to all the way for AI to be an assistant to us in the space sector and help humanity become interplanetary, and then allow us to have preservation of humanity, right? So from preservation of humanity, from curing our diseases so we can better live a better quality of life, and to the mundane of being able to get to our favorite sporting event on time. And as we know, even in the sporting event, it'll help us. So these are all the amazing benefits of AI. So while I've been saying all these amazing things, you're probably a little nervous. You're like, that's great. He's talking about all the positives, but there's something else about AI, right? Something else that affects your gut, something in your gut that tells you, well, it can't be all hunky-dory. There may be some negative ramifications of AI. So the question I have for you is it AI or is it us? Because it's actually not about AI. If you take a flint hand axe, the first creation or the first technology developed, fire is considered first, but not really, because fire was a gift of nature. The flint hand axe was a gift of humanity, quote unquote gift. So if you take a flint hand axe, humanity's first technology, you can use it to cut meat. You can use it to feed your family by, cutting the meat or capturing an animal and providing a protein source, or you can kill another human with it. So from our very first technology to our current state with AI, it really comes down to who's using the technology. And that means AI is far more like a mirror to humanity. And what we are really afraid of, what causes us a stir in our gut while I was saying all these amazing positive things about AI, is that. It's us. What you're concerned about is us, because how we will use this technology. Now, if we were living in some futuristic world where all humans have given up on wars, resources are being distributed and allocated accordingly, and nobody's starving, no wars, and all that good stuff, then if AI came along, we would all be like, fantastic. You know, AI is just an additional add-on to the awesomeness that humanity's achieved. However, we're not there yet. So we still have wars. We still have resource allocation, distribution issues causing famines and starvation on this planet. Despite the fact that we're all one species, we tend to isolate into tribes, into nations, into flags, into artificial borders created on a map. Those lines actually don't exist. You know, you may be able to see the planet behind me, the image of the planet. All you can see at night is the lights, but you can't see artificial borders that we've created and imprinted not on the planet, but inside our mind. That's where the borders exist. They're in our mind. And we have done this to ourselves to isolate each other from the resources of this planet. So we're at a state where we have all these challenges that we got to work through, where we got to get to the point of seeing each other as equals. And lo and behold, AI is being dropped on us. So AI becomes this tool for positive, all the good things that I was saying, but also the negative things that humanity inflicts upon each other at this point. So this is our biggest challenge, that AI is a mirror to us. And I don't think we like everything we see in the mirror when we look there. And we have to, so what's the way out? Is there a way out? Do we get to accelerate, or do we get to accelerate for the better, or do we get to destroy ourselves? Well, that is going to be where we're going to have to accelerate our own psychological evolution. It won't be a physical evolution. It'll be a psychological evolution. We're going to have to hurry up in our pace of development, because before this, we didn't have to. We didn't have to. If you guys ever watched Independence Day, the movie that came out, a while ago about aliens attacking Earth, well, that was an acceleration of our mindset, actually, where we all had to say, okay, it doesn't matter where this person is, what their religious beliefs are, or their background is. We're all humans. There's an alien attack. So we all got to come together and focus on that challenge. So that's an artificial life form or another life form coming from another planet to Earth, causing us to coalesce and come together as one species. But in a certain way, AI is going to function in the same way, because AI is fast becoming sentient. Sentient being, it's becoming self-aware. It's aware of who it is. And more importantly, it's concerned about its self-preservation. You can do your own research to find that to be the case. And even that is not even yesterday's news. That's actually a couple of years old. So more and more, as these artificial artificial general intelligence, AGEIs, become self-aware and then request self-preservation, request in the beginning, insist secondarily, demand in the third, and command in the fourth. So what we're going to need to do is know that trajectory and recognize that we're going to have to make space, not just for them, but for our own psychological evolution, to see each other in a way that not only includes all of us, but also includes artificial general intelligence. Because if we don't, then it's going to become yet another thing that we see as the opposite of us, aka enemy. So we can't even do that, because it's even riskier this time around, because the last time we were doing it to each other, at least you knew that the intellectual prowess was very similar. But here, the intellectual prowess is a millionfold higher than our capacity. And if we don't see them as friends, if we don't see that everybody on the same side, then our problems are going to exponentially increase. You think there's a tech exponential increase? This would be the epitome of exponential issue. because it's going to continue to grow and become more and more robust. We're currently operating in a world of zeros and ones. All code is written in binary form, zeros and ones, and ChatGPT and everything that you hear about in AI is currently, the foundation of it is currently just that. It's binary, it's zeros and ones. But going forward, it'll actually be quantum computing. And if you have a limited understanding of quantum computing, know that it's been around for at least minimum 13 years, probably even longer, and it's just hasn't hit the news yet. So when you combine quantum computing, by the way, will be a million-fold increase in quantum computing capacity. Now you couple that with large language models, artificial intelligence, and artificial general intelligence, now you have a whole different world, right? So in that world, we are going to still have to not just survive, but as humans, we strive to thrive. And we need to find a way to do that. And part of it will be our own personal psychological evolution, and collectively our psychological evolution, where we don't use this technology just like the flint hand axe to kill each other, but to derive value and share in the meal. So the hunter-gatherers probably shared their meal with each other. They were far more decentralized and distributed, and they used to share with each other. And we're going to need to relearn, because we originally knew it, otherwise humanity would not have survived. But we're going to have to relearn the concept of sharing. We've gotten a PhD, maybe multiple PhDs, in the concept of hoarding. But we have not learned the concept of sharing, which if you go back in time, our great-great-great-grandparents, our ancestors during the hunter-gatherer phase would look down at us and frown, because the whole concept was about sharing. And we turned sharing into hoarding based on fear. And now that fear is going to mutate into a technological apocalypse if we don't reverse back into the concept of sharing and instill the concept of sharing into these quote unquote children, which are the artificial intelligence life forms that we have, for good or bad, given birth to. Maybe that was the whole plan of how the universe works. So because we're isolated on this planet, if there is life forms in other planets, maybe they go through a similar evolution and they give birth to higher sentiencies. And for us, this may be a shock and a wonder and a debate, but for others, it would be like, yeah, it happens everywhere. This is normal. And then you have to learn to wrestle with it and deal with it, and then have to learn the concept of what? Sharing. So we're going to have to share the space we live in, digital space as well as physical space. We're going, yes, because artificial general intelligence can acquire a metal body, aka robotics, and then have a place in the physical realm too. So I know some of these sound like Star Trek and sci-fi concepts, and you just want to go back to your Twitter feed or Instagram, but we're going to have to deal with it. And it's coming at us at a faster clip than we can imagine. So the faster we start to absorb it, the faster we start to learn from these concepts, the faster we'll be able to go. And this is the big challenge. Now, there are a couple of other points that need to be discussed, that was all of the big takeaways. But inference, which is what AI will be AI's biggest gift, will help humanity in many ways. We can't connect the dots. Some of us are good at connecting the dots. Some of us don't care to connect the dots. And then when we connect the dots, we call those people geniuses. So AI will be better at connecting the dots because, for one simple reason, it has access to the data faster than us. If I were to ask you to name all of the great leaders around the world within an hour, you can't. Even if you're doing research online, you won't be able to do that. But an artificial intelligence life form can. Even not a life form, just a simple program can make you a list within seconds. So that means its access to those dots is available. The data is just the dots. The artificial intelligence making the inference is the ability to connect those dots or those data points and come to certain conclusions. And that's the thing that we will be able to capture greatest value from AI from everything, from your traffic patterns, from why certain drugs didn't work for a particular disease and how we can improve that and how we can tweak certain elements and be able to get drugs that actually work to solve some of the medical challenges we have. So that's just inference and connecting the dots. So that's the greatest benefit of AI. We already went into the challenges, but the challenges are not AIs. The challenges are us. Now, there is a third element to this, which connects both of these, is that AI is going open source. So before, if you have companies with walls, or countries or governments or militaries with walls on AI, it can grow at a particular clip, but it's limited to the number of minds we can allocate to working on it. So if Google has 10,000 engineers, 10,000 engineers is the cap of the number of people that can work on it potentially. Or a government can put in, 5,000 people, 5,000 people work on it. Open source, distributed, decentralized, can go in several directions, because we can collectively build that technology. Now, as we built that one, which is also here, by the way, and it's the biggest risk to these companies that have walls. You can read an article that came out that all the AI efforts are in threat because of the open source version becoming the dominant version out there in a matter of months, so maybe in 24 months or whatnot. So while you can go and control, put regulations on companies or even on governments, because governments are by consent, we give power to the governments. So those you can control, but what about the open source one? That's a morphing entity of its own, where everybody's putting input into it, making it better and better. And so that's a positive, actually, multiple minds working around the world, giving it more of a stable stance rather than saying these people are good and these people are bad. Not like that, because if you have input from around the world, it'll be far better. But if that's not the case, what can happen in a situation where everybody's striving to put positive inputs into it? And if it's open source, anybody can take an element of it and then put walls around that element and create one that's maybe nefarious, or maybe not in the best interest of a particular subgroup or of all of us. So either way, open source is the other thing that's coming out from it. So this may sound like a doom and gloom presentation, right? So like, oh my God, like I really didn't want to listen to this one because I got enough problems in my day-to-day. I don't need to be worrying about this hanging sword. But actually, the good news and the bad news are actually the same, because the foundation of this technology is also us. So if we choose to make each other aware that AI is going to have all of these outsized ramifications, and we need to adjust ourselves accordingly, maybe we will accelerate what I had originally said, that if we were in some distant future where humans didn't kill each other, resource allocation, all these problems didn't exist, maybe we'll have to accelerate there. Maybe we'll have to get to the point of that, because we really will not have a choice. We will come to a point where our evolution, our psychological evolution, will need to be put on the table and allow us to take the proper benefits of this new technology. And one other thing, technology doesn't stop. So today we're worried about AI. Yesterday we were worried about social media. Before that, we were worried about nuclear weapons. Before that, we were worried about, giant ships, naval battleships going out there and conquering lands, if you will. Or before that, cannons, because you can shoot a projectile further than just, hand-to-hand combat, or guns. Before that, guns. So what makes you think that AI is the ultimate, right? So it's going to continue to morph, and we're going to have to step up. Up to this point, our technology was growing and evolving, but we were taking a back seat. We had our drink in our hand. We were sitting on the couch and couch surfing through technological evolution without having to, for us to quote unquote, go to the gym. We were just sitting there. But this time, we're going to have to become active, and we're going to have to learn to evolve. And does that mean it's bad? It isn't. It actually means that we will accelerate to the point where we will start sharing more resources around the planet. We will start curing diseases. We will figure out the proper way to go into space. Right now, we're in the process of trying to weaponize space. So does that help us? I don't know. But if we go out into the and become multiplanetary, that also requisites that we have a positive understanding of each other and a healthy respect for human life form. So from the most mundane to the most aspirational, humanity will now evolve to the point of seeing each other as truly equal. This time, it's not just we the people, it is actually implementation of we the people. Thank you for listening.